stupidly hot here. I don't know where you are in the country or the world, but my Lord, it is hot right now in North Carolina. So I'm just trying not to melt. I'm out in my little building, which is run by you can see it probably right there, my tiny little air conditioning wall, 8-window unit, whatever you want to call it. But anyways, that whole jam was with a Helix HX Stomp through a little, if you're familiar with turbo sound, they make these towers. Mine's the IP2000, I think. These little, well, say little, but they're 1,000-watt, supposedly all-in-one little mini liner A PA systems, kind of like the Bose things, right? Every brand makes them now. But that was all a Helix when HX Stomp XL, to be more precise. This thing. So I broke down. I bought one of these. If you know anything at all about me, you know I love amps. I like tube amps. I like old school amps that aren't that, complicated. And that's kind of my jam. I'm into magnetones right now. I've got 3 magnetones, I guess. A Twilighter, an M80. And a vintage right behind me. See if you can see it right there. A vintage M10 that actually belonged to Mike Campbell at one point. So I love amps, and I have owned a Helix, an LT in the past. Didn't hate it, didn't love it, got rid of it. I had it for like a church kind of gig, and when that went away, once that was over, I just didn't love it enough to keep it. But I found myself in situations since where I thought, man, it'd be nice to have something like that. And the Stomp XL, I kind of dig because it's small. It's a little simpler than the regular Helix, but it's got extra foot switches, so I can have more options if I want to run it like a traditional pedal board. But anyways, I just, since I bought one of these things, I thought I would walk you through my thought process and why a guy like me who likes amps and doesn't even really, love in-ears most of the time, why I would buy something like this. So, at one point in the not too distant past, just a few weeks ago actually, I had a 2-Notes Audio Capture X 8-ohm that I could run my amps through. And that thing, in case you're not familiar, it's a load box. So like you can unplug the speaker of your amp, run your amp silently, and then it had all the different IRs, like cab simulations you could run, and all the different mic options. So if you wanted to run straight to a PA without your amp making any noise on stage, you could still have your amp making noise on stage. You could attenuate your amp. Or like out here, if I wanted to run straight into the DAW or straight to, my recording interface, I suppose. I could do that, or I could practice with headphones, and it was cool. It was great. I loved it. I never felt like I used it to its full potential. I was never using it live. I was pretty much only using it out here to play my amps quieter through my studio monitors, which are sitting on the desk to either side of the camera here. I don't know. I'm just simple when it comes to those things. I also had a Cab M made by 2-Notes, which you could put between your sort of amp, the head and the speaker cabinet, or if it's a combo, you can unplug the speakers, run into that, and then back out to the speakers, and then go straight to the front of the house with different IRs. I never used it that way. It had an update where it had preamp models in it as well as the IRs, the speaker, models, or to get different cab simulations. And I would keep it in my sort of rig as a backup. So if my amp died, I had something I could put at the end of my pedal board chain and just run it that way. I could run direct, and it sounded pretty good. And I'd use it for headphones and to practice sometimes as well with my pedal board. So I had both those things. And I had my small little Supro Comet, which was a great grab and go amp. Sometimes I'd take it as a backup as well to like closer gigs, or if I was just going to jam, or if I was going to do like an acoustic gig. And I love that amp, and I recorded with it a lot. But I found that it and my M80, I love the slide tone in particular on that little Supro Comet because it had such like a push in like the mids. They were like gnarly. The M80 does the same thing. So they were sort of, I was using it less and less and using the Magnetone more and more. So I just thought to myself, especially after I went to Alaska not long ago, man, it'd be cool to have a fly rig. It'd be cool to have something that I could just, throw in a bag, and it could be my whole rig. Or, I could, like, if I'm playing the M80 and I don't need any more extra dirt, I could just have it as like my delays and modulation, run it in the effects loop. It'd serve as like a backup, like small pedal board. Like I said, it could be my whole rig. And then if I'm playing an acoustic gig with somebody, it has acoustic model stuff in there, or preamp kind of things in there. I also had a HX Soulmate. There was a looper and all that stuff all in one. And it was cool, again, but I felt like if I had something like an HX Stomp, I could do all those things. So basically, it won't do everything the Captor X does, but it does everything that I did with the Captor X the way I was using it. So, sold the Captor X, sold the Cab M, sold the Soulmate, and sold the Comet, and sort of replaced them all with the Helix Stomp XL, well, the HX Stomp XL. So far, I'm happy I did it. The other thing I was toying around with is I really want a new Gretsch. So obviously, the sale of all those things made me more money than buying the Stomp. So that's Gretsch money. But I love doing my acoustic gigs. I use a looper all the time. And sometimes, having a direct option lets me play electric guitar on my acoustic, my solo gigs. Sort of like I just did in the beginning of this. So the sort of rhythm sound, well, they're both clean, but the rhythm sound was actually just one of the preamp things with the acoustic, like sort of presets that came loaded in the HX that I'm just playing my guitar through. I tweaked it and beefed it up, so I had sort of a cleany, acoustic-y kind of sound. And then I switched over. That was the Princeton preset that I tweaked, that I was playing the lead stuff on. So that's been a lot of fun. I've done 2 solo gigs like that since I got this thing, and I've been pretty happy with it. I still need to tweak a little bit. I haven't tweaked much. I'm not a sit around and tweak. I'd rather just be playing. That's why I like amps, because I like to just plug in, turn a knob, and then okay, bam, I got a sound I like. But so far, this thing is doing it for me. I feel like I've joined the newest century in the fact that I've got some amp modeling that I can take out and use. And it is pretty good. It does sound good. It's fun in a certain context, And I'm not trying to make it sound just like amps. I'm just trying to get usable, cool, fun sounds and let it sort of be its own thing. And I think that's the joy. If you're an amp guy and you get a modeler, don't try to make it sound exactly, like the amps you have. Maybe, if that's what you're going for, by all means, go ahead. But maybe the key is let it be its own thing. Find usable, cool sounds that you dig. All I've done is I just, it comes with all these presets. Most of them are blah. A lot of them have weird effects, and they're fun to play around with, but they're not super usable. So all I did was drag, I think in 2 of the banks, and all the banks I have 4 little channels. So all I did was drag, presets I dug and then tweak them from there. I'll show you what I have so far. So I've got this kind of acoustic-y sound. So there's no even cab model on that. But I can get a pretty good little strummy or like picky kind of sound. And my hope is that when I finally end up with the Gretsch that I'd like, I can use it for some acoustic gigs and get the hollow body thing going. And you know, it doesn't have to be totally acoustic; it just has to be fun. And like I said, I've got that Princeton thing. That's with obviously a little delay on. There's the Princeton with just reverb. And I pretty much had that set just to play lead over that other clean sound, so it's kind of a bit of reverb. Maybe too much reverb sitting on this side of things. I think I got a tremolo set in there. Actually, no, had a rotary thing. So anyways, you know, not perfect at all yet by any means, but pretty darn good. Here's a Voxy sound that I haven't messed with at all that I just saved. Obviously kind of dirty. Turn that delay off. And then I saved this little JTM 45 kind of sound. Same thing, turn the delay off. So way too much delay so far, I gotta tweak that, but kind of fun. Here it is with like a model of the Klon in there. Also has a plate reverb going on, and if I wanted to put a vibe on there, turn the Klon off. So like I said, I haven't even really tweaked these, but I just thought those were kind of fun. The other little patch I had, you know, I saved the same sort of acoustic-y sound. A clean, sort of like twin sort of sound. It had marked as Sultans. So obviously, not quite there with a 335 like it would be with a Strat. But a pretty cool clean sound. Here's a matchless thing. With a trim. I actually really like that sound. That would be great. So like if I did, you know, I don't know, the acoustic thing and looped it. So say I did something like darn cool, you know? So neat sounds. I think I put another, like, say it was a Jeff Beck live thing. So anyways, lots of good sounds. Yeah, I'm happy that I dipped my toe back into the strange new world, the brave new world of amp modeling. Not replacing my amps anytime soon. Still, probably not going to take this out like with the trio or anything, because I just love having, you know, my normal amp. I do. You know, I love being on stage, hearing a normal amp loud. Yeah, it's I don't know, it's different. It's euphoric. I love it. It's part of the reason I like to play live. So for me, this doesn't take the place of that, but it's definitely got its uses, and there's some things it does really well, and there's some scenarios that it's really great in. So, not to be a traitor to the tube amp purists, still firmly on team tube amp, but that is why I decided to buy an HX Stomp XL. I think the XL is the best value right now, and they're actually the same price on Sweetwater. The regular HX Stomp and the HX Stomp XL. Or at least they were. Maybe, hopefully they haven't gone back up, but they were the same price. So unless space really is an issue and you don't need those extra foot switches, I think it's crazy not to buy that one. But anyways, let me know what you think. Is everybody watching, have you gone to the dark side? Are you all modular? Do you still use tube amps? Do you use a combination? I'm kind of looking forward to trying out using a combination. And like I said, mostly for me, it's solo gigs, or like if I had a fly gig, like as a sideman. And then it's a fantastic backup. So that's that. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. Hit like, hit subscribe, click that bell so you don't miss things in the future. And I will see you next time.